Most drivers don't realize this. But the right engine additives can improve fuel economy by up to 20% and extend engine life by 100,000 miles or more. But here's the truth. Not all of them work, and some can destroy your engine in weeks. Today, we're going deep into the top 10 engine additives that actually work, the science behind them, the savings they deliver, and the 4 additives you should never put in your car because they destroy engines. Watch closely, because the first product alone can save you $600 this year. And the last one on this list? Mechanics consider it the #1 engine-destroying chemical ever invented. Let's start with the most important additive every GDI engine owner must know. Tip 1. CRC GDI Intake Valve and Turbo Cleaner, Heavy Carbon Removal for GDI engines. Gasoline direct injection engines save fuel, but they also create 40% more carbon buildup on intake valves than port-injected engines after 100,000 miles. Why? Because fuel never washes over the valves. They bake in heat, oil vapors, and soot. This causes rough idle, cold start misfires, sluggish throttle response, check engine lights. Mechanics now recommend GDI valve cleaning as routine maintenance. The service often costs $600 to $800. DIY, $17.99. GDI intake cleaning service, $600 to $800. Savings, $582 to $782. Save $600 plus on GDI cleaning. Ignore GDI carbon long enough and you'll face misfires, timing issues, poor MPG, valve damage, and even turbo overheating. In severe cases, valves can fail, and that's a $2,000 to $4,000 repair. How to apply CRC GDI cleaner correctly. Step 1. Warm the engine to operating temperature. Step 2. Remove the intake boot or air duct upstream of the throttle body. Step 3. With the engine idling at 2,000 revolutions per minute, spray the entire can slowly into the intake stream. Step 4. Shut the engine off and let it soak for 1 hour. This step matters. Step 5. Restart the engine and drive aggressively, safe and legal, for 10 to 15 minutes to burn off dissolved carbon. Step 6. Repeat every 10,000 miles. GDI engines build carbon fast. This formula uses high-concentration PEA, the strongest carbon detergent available. It hits the valves directly, something tank additives can't do. Borescope tests show valves going from black to silver after proper use. Used correctly, CRC GDI restores throttle response, cold start smoothness, MPG, and protects both valves and turbos from expensive heat-soak carbon. If your GDI car is over 75,000 miles, this becomes essential maintenance, not optional. Dealerships charge $600 plus for GDI induction service. Many of these services use a product similar to CRC, applied through the intake the exact same way. Used properly, CRC GDI can restore throttle response, eliminate cold start stumbling, improve MPG, prevent expensive valve cleanings, protect turbochargers from carbon heat soak. For GDI engines, it's one of the highest ROI maintenance steps you can do at home. I once scoped a GDI engine with 90,000 miles. The valves looked like burnt marshmallows. We ran CRC GDI through it and let it soak. After the second application, you could finally see the silver valve edges again. The customer avoided an $800 walnut blast cleaning. And that's just the buildup problem. The next additive stops the most expensive leaks drivers face. Tip 2. At 205 Reseal, Rubber Seal Reviver for leaks. Every car, old or new, depends on rubber seals to hold pressure and keep fluids where they belong. But as rubber ages, it hardens, cracks, loses elasticity, starts allowing leaks. Oil leaks, transmission leaks, power steering leaks, and each one can cost hundreds or thousands to repair. At 205 Reseal is one of the only additives that fixes the root cause of those leaks. DIY, $12 to $15. Typical leak repair, $600 to $2,500. Savings, $585 to $2,485. Save thousands on leak repairs. If you ignore aging rubber seals, leaks spread fast. Oil drips on a hot exhaust, power steering pumps overheat, transmissions lose pressure, differentials run dry. A single neglected leak can destroy an engine or transmission. How to use at 205 reseals safely and effectively. Step 1. Identify the leaking system, engine, transmission, power steering, differential. Step 2. Add at 205 directly to the fluid reservoir, never overfill. Step 3. Drive for 1 to 2 hours over the next few days to circulate the plasticizer. Step 4. Reapply every 30,000 to 50,000 miles or when seals begin to stiffen again. Step 5. For external rubber, boots, bushings, mounts, suspension seals, spray a light coat to keep components supple. At 205 is not a stop leak. It doesn't swell rubber or clog passages. It's a plasticizer that restores seal elasticity. Flexible seals expand microscopically and close gaps naturally, stopping fluid escape without damage. Used correctly, at 205 stops small leaks, prevents major ones, protects transmission plus diff seals, keeps suspension boots supple, and extends rack and pinion life. At 205 is beneficial for any mileage, but becomes essential after 80,000 to 100,000 miles, when rubber naturally begins to harden. Some shops charge $100 to $300 for seal conditioning services. Most of those are at 205, marked up 10 times. Don't pay dealership prices for a bottle you can buy for $12. We once had a customer quote $1,900 to replace a leaky rack and pinion. Before the teardown, we added at 205 as a last resort. Within a week, the leak slowed to a drip, then stopped entirely. He ran that steering system for 2 more years without issue. Sometimes restoring rubber beats replacing metal. Now let's protect the inside of your engine, specifically the piston rings that can cost thousands to repair. Tip 3. BGMOA, motor oil additive for piston ring protection. Injectors cleaned in years, and performance has really started to fall. BG44K is the go-to solution for professional mechanics. This formula was built to handle the heavy sludge and stubborn carbon that weaker cleaners simply can't touch. A can of BG44K typically costs $20 to $30, and shops often charge $120 to $180 for a service that uses the same product. But when you compare that to a $800 to $1,500 injector replacement, BG44K is still one of the most cost-effective options. BG44K is loaded with PEA, polyether amine. Not a light solvent, not an alcohol blend, but the strongest carbon-dissolving chemistry on the consumer market. Instead of knocking carbon loose, it dissolves it completely and clears it out of the system. Here's how to use BG44K correctly for maximum impact. Step 1. Run your tank down to 1/4 to 1/2 full before adding the can. This keeps the concentration strong for heavy cleaning. Step 2. Pour the entire can into the tank, no measuring needed. Step 3. Fill up with top-tier premium fuel to help stabilize combustion during cleanup. Step 4. Drive 30 to 45 minutes at regular speeds, letting the cleaner circulate and dissolve carbon. Step 5. Track results after 100 to 200 miles. You'll feel smoother idle, stronger throttle response, and measurable MPG improvements. BG44K is especially effective once you pass 75,000 to 100,000 miles, when deposits begin to harden deep in the injectors. Be cautious when shops charge over $150 for what is essentially the same DIY can you can buy for under $30. Ask the shop which product they're actually using. For older engines or vehicles that haven't been cleaned in years, BG44K delivers one of the most dramatic improvements: restored power, smoother idle, and cleaner combustion for up to 7,500 miles after treatment. But if BG44K is Tip 4, Liqui Moly MOS2 anti-friction treatment. Most drivers don't realize how much energy their engine wastes. About 1/3 of your fuel is burned just to overcome internal friction, and 62% of engine power is lost to heat and friction before it ever reaches your wheels. New engines handle this well, but older engines lose their protective coating and start grinding metal on metal, especially during cold starts. This is where friction modifiers actually make a real difference. DIY, $14.95. Shop friction modifier service, $100 to $150. Savings, $85 to $135. Save on friction reduction service. Ignore friction and you'll face cam lobe wear, timing chain stretch, metal contamination, and bearing wear, any of which can total an engine. These issues lead to $600 to $2,000 repairs, and sometimes full engine failure. How to use Liqui Moly MOS2 correctly. Step 1. Warm the engine for a few minutes, so oil thins slightly. Step 2. Shake the MOS2 bottle well. The molybdenum needs to be fully suspended. Step 3. Pour the full 300 milliliters bottle into the oil filler neck. Step 4. Let the engine idle for 5 minutes to circulate the anti-friction layer. Step 5. Use with every oil change, or every 5,000 miles. This additive shines on engines over 75,000 to 100,000 miles where friction coatings have worn thin. MOS2 creates a pressure-resistant boundary layer that cuts friction up to 50% in cam lobes, bearings, valve trains, piston skirts, and timing components. And unlike Lucas stabilizer, MOS2 works safely with turbo engines, GDI engines, diesel engines, and vehicles with DPFs. Some shops charge for engine friction treatment, but secretly use low-quality products that thicken oil, not protect it. MOS2 is safe because it does not thicken oil. It changes how metal surfaces interact. MOS2 delivers quieter cold starts, smoother acceleration, lower temps, fewer wear particles, and longer engine life, all for under $15. I once worked with a delivery driver who ran his Golf TDI over 300,000 miles. His secret? Every oil change, he added MOS2. When we opened his engine years later, the cam lobes looked far better than engines with half the mileage. That boundary layer really does protect the metal. Now that friction is under control, let's clean the fuel system because even perfect oil can't fix clogging injectors. Tip 5. Techron Concentrate Plus, High PEA Fuel System Cleaner. If your car hesitates when you accelerate, idles rough, or your MPG has dropped for no clear reason, your fuel system might be coated in carbon. Think of it like drinking a milkshake through a straw that's half clogged. The engine can't breathe or burn fuel efficiently, so performance tanks fast. DIY cost, $15.50. Shop fuel system cleaning, $150 to $300. Savings, $134 to $284. Save this trip to the shop. Ignore carbon buildup long enough and your injectors clog, fuel trim spike, and your engine starts running lean. A clogged injector replacement can run $400 to $1,200 depending on your engine. How to use Techron the right way. Step 1. Drive until your tank is at 1/4 to 1/2 full. This gives the additive higher concentration. Step 2. Pour the full 20-ounce bottle directly into the gas tank. Step 3. Fill up with top-tier fuel, Shell, Chevron, Exxon recommended. Step 4. Drive normally for 15 to 20 minutes. This helps circulate the cleaner. Step 5. For heavily carboned engines, repeat every 10,000 miles. Important. Techron works best on cars that have been running cheap gasoline or engines with visible carbon symptoms. Newer or well-maintained engines may see smaller improvements. If your car is over 75,000 miles, Techron becomes one of the highest impact cleaners you can use, especially for GDI engines. Many shops sell a fuel system service for $150 plus that's basically Techron poured into your tank. Don't fall for it. The DIY version is the same chemical formula. Once it circulates, expect smoother acceleration, less knocking, and in many cases a 2 to 4 miles per gallon improvement, especially on neglected engines. For many drivers, this single additive pays for itself in one tank. For deeper cleaning, especially for diesels or badly neglected systems, the next additive goes even further. Tip 6. Hotshot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel. If you've ever owned a diesel in winter, you already know the pain. Long crank times, rough starts, fuel lines freezing, diesel turning into jelly. Diesel fuel contains paraffin wax. At low temperatures, that wax crystallizes and plugs your fuel filter. Your engine can die in minutes. And towing a diesel in freezing weather is not cheap. You need protection before the temperature drops. DIY, $10 to $15. Shop Diesel Winterization Service, $120 to $200. Savings, $110 to $185. Save in winter prep costs. If you don't use an anti-gel in freezing weather, your diesel can refuse to start, stall mid-drive, clog the fuel filter, crack injectors, or pumps. Frozen diesel lines often lead to emergency service calls and repairs costing up to $2,000. How to use hot-shot diesel anti-gel correctly. Step 1. Add the anti-gel before temperatures drop, ideally when the forecast predicts sub-10 degrees Fahrenheit conditions. Step 2. Follow the dose chart, typically 1 ounce per 10 gallons. Check your bottle. Step 3. Add it directly to the fuel tank, then fill up to mix completely. Step 4. For extreme cold snaps, double the treatment amount. Step 5. Repeat every full tank during cold weather. Normal untreated diesel begins to gel around 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot Shot's formula lowers the cold filter plugging point, CFPP, to as low as 40 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning your fuel stays liquid long after competitors fail. This additive isn't mileage-based, it's temperature-based. Use it the moment your nightly lows hit 10 degrees Fahrenheit or colder. Some gas stations sell winter diesel add-ons for $5 to $10 per fill-up, but they're often weak blends. A single bottle of Hot Shot anti-gel treats an entire tank for a fraction of the price with stronger protection. With this additive, your diesel starts reliably in extreme cold, avoids gelled fuel lines, runs quieter, burns cleaner, and gets slight MPG improvement. It's one of the most important winter products for diesel owners. If you want an ultra-cheap gas engine cleaner next, the following additive delivers results for just a few dollars. Tip 7. Gumout Fuel Injector Cleaner, affordable PEA cleaner for modern engines. Fuel injectors don't stay clean forever, even on newer engines. Deposits slowly form on injector tips, intake valves, fuel ports. This leads to hesitation, lower MPG, and sluggish acceleration. Newer engines are especially sensitive because small deposits disrupt their spray patterns. You need a strong cleaner that's safe for both old engines and modern high-efficiency systems. DIY. $5 per bottle, fuel injector cleaning service. $150 to $300. Savings. $145 to $295. Huge value, only $5. Ignore injector deposits long enough and you'll get misfires, rough idle, poor fuel economy, increased emissions, clogged injectors that cost up to $400 each to replace. How to use Gumout Fuel Injector Cleaner properly. Step 1. Fill your tank to 1/2 or 3/4 full. Step 2. Pour the entire 6-ounce bottle into the tank. It treats up to 21 gallons. Step 3. Drive normally. The PEA detergent will clean injectors and valves over the next tank. Step 4. Use it every 3,000 to 5,000 miles or at every oil change for best results. Step 5. For severe buildup, use Gumout All-in-One instead. It has higher PEA strength. Best results show on engines over 75,000 miles or on newer cars run on cheap gasoline for years. Even at $5, Gumout contains PEA, the strongest detergent for injectors and fuel system deposits. It breaks down varnish, gum, carbon, and restores spray pattern plus combustion efficiency. Used properly, Gumout restores MPG, smooths idle, improves throttle response, reduces hesitation, and extends injector life. I had a customer with a Civic that hesitated every morning. Instead of replacing the injectors, I ran a bottle of Gumout through it. Within a tank, the hesitation disappeared. A $5 fix instead of a $600 injector replacement. That's why I always suggest trying a PEA cleaner first. For deeper cleaning on high mileage or heavily abused engines, the next additive hits carbon even harder. Tip 8. ATS 505 CRF Deep Carbon Removal for gas and diesel. If your high mileage engine is burning oil, rattling on cold starts, or struggling at low RPM, you're probably dealing with multiple layers of hardened carbon. Port injectors, GDI injectors, valves, and combustion chambers each build up different types of deposits, and a regular cleaner often only clears 1 or 2. Think of it like trying to scrub engine tar with dish soap. It barely makes a dent. DIY cost, $45 to $60. Professional deep fuel system cleaning, $150 to $300. Savings, $90 to $255. Save on deep carbon cleaning. Ignoring heavy carbon leads to misfires under load, sticking injectors, higher combustion temps, burned valves, timing rattle, and increased oil consumption. That's how engines end up consuming oil or misfiring, and repairs range from $400 to $2,000. How to use ATS 505 CRF correctly. Step 1. Start with a half-full tank for higher concentration. Step 2. Pour the entire bottle into the tank. It treats gasoline and diesel, unlike Techron. Step 3. Drive the vehicle for 20 to 30 minutes to warm the system and circulate the cleaner. Step 4. Complete the tank before refilling. This ensures it reaches injectors, valves, and the combustion chamber. Step 5. For high-mileage cars, use every 7,500 to 10,000 miles. If your car is over 100,000 miles or burning oil, ATS 505 CRF is one of the few additives strong enough to make a visible difference. Drivers report up to 13% better fuel economy, smoother idle, faster throttle response, and in some cases, oil consumption cut in half. For high-mileage engines, this cleaner restores performance you forgot the engine ever had. ATS 505 restores throttle response, reduces timing chain noise, lowers oil consumption, improves injector spray, and brings back lost power. A customer once came in thinking his timing chain was failing. It rattled like metal on metal every morning. Before tearing the engine apart, we ran a deep cleaner through the system. 2 tanks later, the noise was almost gone. Carbon buildup had been throwing off the tensioner the whole time. A $48 bottle saved him a $1,600 repair. Next, we're protecting engines older than 1994 because missing one key ingredient can destroy a camshaft in a single weekend. Tip 9. Lucas TB Zinc Plus ZDDP protection for classic engines. Classic cars are expensive to own, not because the parts are rare, but because their engines require very specific oil chemistry. Flat tappet camshafts rely on high ZDP, zinc plus phosphorus, for lubrication under heavy pressure. Modern oils removed most of it to protect catalytic converters, leaving older engines dangerously unprotected. Without enough zinc, old engines literally grind their cam lobes away. DIY ZDDP additive, $12 to $14. Flat tappet camshaft replacement, $2,000 to $4,500. Savings, $1,988 to $4,486. Prevent cam wear, huge savings. Running classic engines on modern low-zinc oil will wipe cam lobes, collapse lifters, destroy valve timing, send metal through the entire engine. One missed oil change can destroy a classic engine permanently. How to use Lucas TB Zinc Plus correctly. Step 1. Begin with an oil change. Start with fresh oil for best results. Step 2. Add the bottle to your oil. This boosts ZDDP levels from 600 to 800 ppm to over 5,000 ppm during break-in. Step 3. For classic, daily driven engines, use half the bottle per oil change to reach the 1,400 to 2,000 ppm safe zone. Step 4. Mix thoroughly by idling the engine for 3 to 5 minutes. Step 5. Only use full-strength ZP 5,000 plus ppm for engine break-in, race engines, flat tappet cams under heavy load. This product is meant for flat tappet cam engines, classic vehicles, pre-1994 engines. If your car is newer than that, you don't need and should not use this additive. ZDDP forms a sacrificial anti-wear film that protects metal surfaces during high-pressure contact. Flat tappet cams rely on this layer to prevent grinding. Modern roller cams don't need it, which is why modern oils removed most zinc to protect catalytic converters. Some classic car shops charge for ZDDP oil packages for $50 to $75. Most of those packages are base oil plus a bottle of this exact additive. Used consistently, Lucas Zinc Plus prevents cam failure, reduces valve train noise, improves lubrication under load, and dramatically extends engine life. A customer once brought in a '79 Pontiac that had lost power overnight. We opened the valve cover. Half the cam lobes were chewed flat because previous oil changes used modern low-zinc oil. A $3,200 repair could have been prevented with a $12 additive. Classic engines don't forgive missing zinc. Now let's cover an additive that works in both fuel and oil, one of the most versatile treatments ever made. Tip 1. Cheap octane boosters plus 10-point scam additives. If you drive a normal car, Anything from a commuter sedan to an SUV, you do not need an octane booster. But companies rely on flashy labels like plus 10-point gain to sell bottled hype. The catch? A point is not a full octane number. It's just 0.1. So plus 10 points only raises your fuel from 91 to 92, basically nothing. Product cost, $8 to $15. Real performance gain, almost zero. Potential damage, $1,000 plus in sensor and plug replacements. Scam, plus 10 points is not equal to plus 10 octane. Many cheap octane boosters contain MMT, a metallic additive that coats spark plugs, damages oxygen sensors, contaminates catalytic converters, leaves orange deposits throughout the combustion chamber. A single bad bottle can lead to $1,000 to $1,800 in repairs. Here's the truth. High-performance engines do sometimes need real octane boosts, but they need jumps from 91 to 95 plus, not 92. And that level of improvement only comes from race fuel, ethanol blends, professional-grade octane concentrators. Not $10 bottles from a convenience store. Those products typically provide tiny octane gains, no measurable power increase, high chemical contamination risk. They're more likely to dirty your engine than improve performance. If your vehicle is non-turbo, non-performance, made after 2004, running normally on pump gas, you have zero reason to use an octane booster. If a bottle promises plus 10 points, check the fine print. It really means plus 1.0 octane at best, and often much less. Most of the time, you're paying for a placebo effect and a bright-colored chemical mix. Avoiding these additives prevents sensor failure, catalytic damage, misfires, wasted fuel, and wasted money. If your engine truly needs more octane, use premium gas or real race fuel, not a bottle of colored solvent. If metal-based octane boosters are bad, the next additive is even worse. It uses Teflon that can literally clog your engine. Tip 2. PTFE Teflon Oil Additives, Slick 50, and similar products. On paper, PTFE sounds like a miracle. It's the same non-stick coating used in pans, so it should reduce engine friction, right? Wrong. Extremely wrong. Inside an engine, PTFE Teflon does not stay suspended in oil. It clumps, coats, and accumulates, and every major test has proven it. Cost of PTFE additive, $15 to $40. Cost of repairs from clogged oil passages, $2,000 to $6,000 plus. Actual performance gain, none. Scam, zero benefits, massive risk. PTFE particles can clog filters, block oil flow, reduce pressure, starve cam bearings, and cause overheating. Once PTFE accumulates inside the engine, you're looking at catastrophic failure. The most famous brand behind this myth? Slick 50. In 1997, they were hit with a $10 million FTC fine for false advertising. The reason? Independent testing found no added engine protection, no friction reduction, and no measurable engine life increase. NASA engineers also ran PTFE through test engines and found that PTFE particulates do not bond to metal surfaces. Instead, they accumulate in filters and oil galleries, which restricts lubrication and causes engine wear. In short, PTFE belongs in frying pans, not engines. PTFE additives are unsafe for turbo engines, high-mileage engines, new engines, any engine with narrow oil passages. If a bottle claims non-stick engine coating, Teflon technology, coat metal surfaces, it's repackaged PTFE. Put it back on the shelf. Avoiding PTFE protects you from clogged passages, bearing wear, cam scoring, oil starvation, and early engine failure. If you want real friction reduction, use MOS2 Liqui Moly ZDDP for classics, modern synthetic oil, not Teflon. PTFE products are dangerous because they block oil flow, but the next additive destroys engines for the opposite reason, by thinning oil so much it can't protect your bearings. Tip 3. Engine rebuilder additives, copper, silver, and metal infusion scams. Any additive that claims it can rebuild your engine by infusing it with copper, silver, or lead should set off alarms immediately. Soft metals suspended in oil cannot repair. Hardened steel cylinder walls, damaged bearings, worn rings, scored piston skirts. It's the automotive equivalent of putting glue on a broken bone. These products prey on desperate drivers. Bottle cost, $20 to $40. Actual repair cost when the engine finally fails, $1,500 to $5,000. Real engine rebuilding ability, 0. Scam. Rebuilder equals thick oil plus false hope. Engine rebuilders don't fix anything. They thicken oil to hide symptoms like low oil pressure, worn bearings, excessive blow-by, ticking lifters. This temporary silence tricks drivers into thinking the engine is healing while damage accelerates behind the scenes. Oil thickening is the entire trick. By making oil syrup thick, these additives artificially raise oil pressure, reduce audible ticking, mask blow-by, slow visible leaks. Thick oil fails to flow where it's needed most, especially during cold starts. This starves crankshaft bearings, camshaft lobes, timing components, piston skirts, and the metal powders inside. They settle in oil passages and filters, causing even more restrictions. No additive can replace missing metal. No additive can rebuild worn cylinders. No additive can reverse bearing wear. If a bottle claims to replace worn metal, rebuild compression, heal engine surfaces, it's just a thickening agent in disguise. Walk away. Engine rebuilders destroy engines by hiding symptoms, but the next additive destroys them by locking oil flow entirely. This one is responsible for more blown engines than any other budget additive. Tip 4. Tetraethyl lead TL, the most dangerous additive ever created. Behold the most dangerous fuel additive ever created, tetraethyl lead, also known as TL. It was once used to boost octane and reduce knock in early gasoline engines, and yes, it works. But the cost is catastrophic. TL doesn't just damage engines. It destroys people. DIY illegal additive, $20 to $40. Damage to catalytic converter plus sensors, $800 to $2,000. Savings by avoiding, $780 to $1,960. $20 illegal additive, less than $2,000 damage. Even a single tank of fuel treated with TL can, in your engine, poison the catalytic converter permanently, contaminate O2 sensors and spark plugs, cause constant check engine lights, make the vehicle fail emissions for good. In your body, cause brain and nervous system damage, reduce memory and concentration, trigger tremors and neurological symptoms, damage liver and kidneys long term. In older cars before catalytic converters, TL increased octane significantly. But once catalytic converters became standard, TL became incompatible with every modern engine. It burns into toxic lead oxide, coats essential emission components in a permanent layer of lead, disables oxygen sensors instantly, and destroys catalytic converters from the inside out. Any product containing TL is illegal, dangerous, engine-killing, life-threatening. Avoiding TL protects your engine, your converter, your sensors, your lungs, and your long-term health. There's a reason TL was banned. Now you know the additives that actually protect your engine and the ones that quietly destroy it. The real value is simple. You now know exactly what's worth buying, what to avoid, and how to keep your engine healthy without paying shop prices. If this helps you save money, hit the like button so more drivers see it. And drop your mileage in the comments. I'll tell you exactly which additives your engine needs next.